is edited and adapted from an ideal state. It is nothing more nor less than perfection, and therefore we can never be entirely successful. All that we can hope to attain is a partial success, and for that reason, so long as you strive with all your strength after perfection, you can never be a failure, however far you may fall short of your ideal. Success, as we understand the term, is the measure of our personal power, while money is the standard by which the world judges our success. You yourself should gauge success by your own sense of accomplishment. You make a success of whatever you do by doing it with all your might, and to the best of your ability. Judged by ordinary standards, it may be a failure, but if you know it is the best work of your mind and spirit, it is a success. On the other hand, what will satisfy the world may actually be a failure. If a person writes a book carelessly, or for the mere sake of making money, and not because they want to do it well, and take pleasure in the labor, it is a failure if it is not the best work they are capable of doing, even if everybody talks about it and it brings a fortune. If you earn a lot of money and gain no friends, your life is a failure. Unless you make of your life all that you are capable of making it, you yourself are a failure, at least in part. It does not matter what people say of you. You yourself know the truth. You must ignore the artificial standards by which life is judged. When all is said and done, you are a world unto yourself. All the earth, so far as you are concerned, is bound by the limits of your own vision and of your own knowledge. You came into the world mentally alone. You live in an individual existence for which you alone can render account, and you pass into the vast beyond, alone. Nothing that other people can say, think, or do really makes you dependent upon them. Nobody can help you unless you also can help yourself, and unless you are worthy of help. Other people can earn money for you, but only you yourself can learn how to use it to advantage. You alone can make yourself happy. You alone can keep yourself back. Why then should you allow yourself to be bound by the mental conventions when your will is free, and your mind is your own to think your own thoughts? There can be no power without mental independence. The great tendency of the age is for people to take their thoughts ready-made from others. But until you can think for yourself and create for yourself, you can never succeed. One person does a task one way. Another person wants to employ a different method, or the labor becomes difficult and joyless. For instance, when I have a difficult business letter to send, the best way for me to set about it is to write it down in longhand first before having it typed. I find that my thoughts run more easily, and I am able to compose an intricate letter better by this method. Most people, however, would find this plan laborious. They find it easier just to type it out right away, or to dictate it to an assistant. The tasks that are performed by routine and admit of no deviations from a general rule are ill-paid tasks. Only the work that calls for original, creative thoughts brings you into the limelight and endows you with the responsibilities that lead to the heights of your profession. Think for yourself. Decide for yourself the method of life and work which will best accord with your own tastes, temperament, and abilities. All the great women and men of the world have been mentally free. They were not bound by standards. They made standards by which other people judge themselves. If Columbus or Isaac Newton had bound themselves by the standards of their contemporaries, would the world have been better for their having lived? No, because they were mentally free, and because they acted and spoke and worked according to their own thoughts. They succeeded in their missions, and we feel their influence today. You may not be capable of influencing thousands, or even hundreds, but you can certainly influence a few. What the extent of your power is, you do not know, but you may be certain that you can influence nobody until you have confidence in your own powers. And unless you develop those powers by doing everything as perfectly as you can, unless you always aim at greater perfection and a better and larger field of work, you can never attain to any degree of mental power, and never be anything but a partial success. Never mind if people think you are wrong or foolish. They cannot judge. Let them think you are a failure if they like. So long as you know that you are doing your best and are advancing in knowledge and power, that is the only thing that matters. Recall that when Noah was building his ark, the people laughed at him for being a fool, but he was saved when they were drowned. Note that the work of the poet Keats was savagely attacked by critics. If he had accepted their standard, how much poorer our literature would have been by the loss of his work. If you listen to other people and let yourself be guided by them, you bind yourself by the limits of their minds. And unless by some happy chance those you associate with are large-minded, you must cramp your intellect and remain one of the crowd for the rest of your days. The world is yours. The limit of your powers is the limit of your own mind, which will expand proportionately to the manner in which you use it. Set up your own standard for everything. Trust your own judgment. If a certain thought is true, it does not matter if all the world proclaims it false. It is true just the same. If you are assured that a plan of action which you devise is the right one, the opinion of 1,000 people to the contrary will not necessarily prove it to be wrong. It is success to take your own course, even if it be wrong, so long as you believe it to be right. Do not be afraid of failure. Nobody is infallible, and it's unlikely that the first person who offers you advice, with incomplete knowledge of your thoughts and of your capacity, should necessarily be a better judge than you yourself of what you ought to do. You know your own thoughts completely, and have full acquaintance with your capacity for your task. If you believe your own judgment, if you are satisfied that you are making progress, and if you have confidence in your own powers, you are successful, whatever people may think, and despite the fact that you may not be making much money. Most people considered as a mass are like sheep. They run about hither and thither, bleating advice, uncertain what to do, and distrustful of anyone who wants to do anything out of the ordinary. They will criticize you today, copy you tomorrow, and follow you blindly the next day. Are such people to be your guides, to set up your standards for you? When you are criticized, there is a probability that you are on the right road. Yes, weigh criticism and listen to advice. Gather wisdom even from the brains of fools, but decide for yourself. Go your own way after you have made sure that it is the right way and the best way, the way that will lead you where you wish to travel. You are succeeding all the time you are striving after something better, and you are a failure from the moment that you weaken. You must meet disaster bravely and cheerfully, and go on. You must encounter success without losing your head, or your sense of your own limitations, and go on. You must work at congenial tasks, and take the unpleasant ones with them, and go on to your next duty. You must snatch your brief joys, and look for more. Help one person, and then assist another. Always you must advance, looking forward and fighting onward, for progress is success. Are you succeeding? Or are you hesitating because you are listening to the whispers of those who lack courage as well as brains? One day you will have no option of choice. You will be called into the unknown, and if you are cowardly in this world, you will go into the next with terror. The future cannot frighten the individual with courage in their heart, and the one who goes out of this life with the consciousness of work well and faithfully done will go armed at all points, a woman or man mentally free, passing into the land where the final success awaits them. The Inspirational Living Podcast is a production of The Living Hour. Transform your life in 30 days with our Majesty Meditation Program. Our unique auto-suggestion sound method meditation will help you achieve success in every area of your personal and professional life. Learn more at livinghour.org/majesty. To get 30% off the $11.99 purchase price,